Welcome, audience, to my Insomnia video treatment series. This is video 2 of a total of 8 that will include treatments for your insomnia symptoms and improve your ability to sleep. So in video number 2, we're going to talk about the importance of stimulus control. My name is Valerie Williams. I am a nurse practitioner. I'm currently working as a sleep specialist at a sleep clinic in Southern California. Welcome to my video. So stimulus control, why is it important in helping a person sleep? So what it does, it trains the brain to associate your bed and your bedroom with sleeping. And the other thing, it's very helpful in calming down or slowing down your brain waves or the activity of your brain so that your brain can actually fall into sleep faster and stay into sleep. And a cool and calm brain will definitely help you sleep better, and sleep is more naturally will happen. So stimulus control therapy consists of keeping all non-sleep activities out of your bed, okay? Specifically, anything that has to do with electronic, blue screen watching definitely needs to not be brought into your bed. Even reading or doing, thinking about things. Also, sometimes people will eat in their bed. All these other activities need to be removed from your bed, period. Your bed should no longer be a control center for all these activities to happen, okay? It should be for sleep and intimacy. And waking up also at the same time every day is very important to setting your circadian rhythm. So when your brain sees just maybe seconds of sunlight, when the sun comes up in the morning, it starts your body functions and your brain starts to wake up. All these wonderful strong chemicals are emitted, and your body functions are going to be able to function for that 24 hours because of the sun. So the sun is the driver of wakefulness and starts your 24-hour clock. And also another important thing to avoid while you're sleeping is avoid looking at your clock. Your clock is a negative stimulus. When you look at the time, all it does is make you angry and anxious because it tells you, which you already knew, that you're not sleeping. So getting rid of that anxiety-producing trigger is extremely important in keeping your brain quiet and settled down throughout the night. Okay, so if you have to use a clock to wake up, set the alarm, but cover the clock up or turn the face so that you don't know what time it is, okay? So how to fall asleep faster with stimulus control. So you're going to go to bed when you're sleepy. So when you go to bed when you're sleepy, and that's usually when your brain clock is ready to sleep. That should be your bedtime. If you're going to bed at 10, but you routinely don't get or fall asleep until midnight, then guess what? Midnight's your bedtime. So that's the time when it should be your bedtime. That's the time that your brain is naturally wanting to sleep. So going to bed 2 hours early is not in line with your natural circadian rhythm sleep clock. So always try to be more in line with that as your bedtime. Sometimes though, if you go to sleep and you've been unsuccessful for months or years, then your bed is now associated as a place to not sleep. So even if you are sleepy, you go to bed, then sometimes people will instantly wake up because their brain will just pop into awake mode because your brain for so long now has not associated with the bed with sleeping. So if that happens, you need to get out of bed. Do not linger in bed. Get out of bed again and go back to doing something quiet, non-stimulating, that does not involve blue light screen time, and keeping the lights down dim until your brain gets sleepy again. Then try again to get in bed and see if you can fall asleep within a reasonable time. And you can keep repeating that routine until you finally fall asleep. Definitely decrease your time in bed if you're not sleeping. So if you didn't know what we are referring to when we talk about blue light sources, this is just a picture of a few of the blue light sources that we're all guilty of using as part of our way to relax in the evening. Blue light is to your brain the same as sunlight. So sunlight, as I mentioned earlier, is a stimulant. It wakes your brain up. When your brain sees blue light, your brain becomes very active, okay? It does not want to sleep. It wants to stay active. So sources that are in this picture are the TV. Kids, I know a lot of kids play video games using their TV monitors. So that just emits, huge amounts of blue light for hours after hours if they're playing for a long time. Your computer, your Kindle, your iPad, your iPhone, even the lights in your house can be a source of blue light. So be very aware that blue light at night is not your friend, okay? For your brain to make melatonin levels that high enough to help you fall asleep and stay asleep, it needs at least 3 to 4 hours of a dark environment. That's why the circadian rhythm is based on the sunlight to wake it up and darkness to make your brain sleepy by making melatonin, and that's how it's regulated. Because of electricity, though, when the sun goes down, guess what we do? We turn lights on and we use these blue light sources. So your brain sometimes doesn't really know what it needs to do, and people don't get sleepy usually until they actually go to bed, turn off the lights, and are lying there now for 3 hours, 2 hours before they get sleepy. But then now they think that their circadian rhythm is broken and that they'll never sleep again. It's just that they're not in sync with what your brain is needing to be able to sleep, and that's the darkness before your bedtime. So I want to talk about exercise, and because exercise is very important, we encourage people to have a regular exercise routine, but there's a couple of things about exercising that is in conflict with helping your brain sleep. So when we exercise, and I'm talking about strenuous exercise where your heart rate goes up and you actually sweat, this is very stimulating in a good way to your body. So you have all these endorphins and wonderful chemicals that make you feel happy and euphoric, is also a byproduct of exercise, which is wonderful. But then the other thing is that your body temperature also goes up, right? Your core temperature increases because of the exercise increases your temperature. So between the euphoric feeling and the stimulus that brings on, and then the increase in core temperature, it stimulates your brain too much, okay? So that if you go to bed or exercise before you go to bed, then your brain is, first of all, too hot because your core temperature is increased. And then you have these chemicals going throughout your body that are stimulating in a good way, but still it's stimulating so that your brain has a hard time falling asleep. So the rule of thumb is to avoid exercising 4 hours before your bedtime. And ideally, it's better to exercise in the morning or early afternoon if you have that time to be able to exercise. This is the last slide of my stimulus control. And I hope I gave you some good tips and important information on why stimulus control is so important in helping to calm down your brain and get your brain prepared for sleep. Please review this content as often as you need to learn it and to be able to implement it in your sleep routine. Thank you for taking time to look at the video with me, and I want you to be safe and please sleep well and thrive. Thank you.